Poštovani gledatelji, srdačan vam pozdrav. Iznimna mi je čast pozdraviti večeras našu gošću koja je doputovala iz Sjedinjenih Američkih Država. O njoj se mnogo pričalo u Hrvatskoj. Bila je vrlo zanimljiva novinarima, ali i znanstvenicima. Evo, danas je s nama u emisiji Vidljivi tragovi. Pozdravljam gospođu profesoricu, znanstvenicu, publicistkinju Judith Reisman, već kako se kaže. Welcome to our show.
Thank you very much.
S nama je također i gospođa Irena Grković, koja je docentica na Medicinskom fakultetu u Splitu. Ona je živjela u Australiji pa jako dobro zna engleski, sigurno bolje od mene, pa će ona nama i prevoditi. Evo, na samom početku, gospođo Reisman, ono zbog čega ste došli je seksualni odgoj koji se želi sada provoditi u hrvatskim školama. Vi ste znanstvenica i proveli ste neka istraživanja. Koja ste točno istraživanja proveli, a koja se odnose ima u veze sa seksualnim odgojem?
Can you please tell us about your research related to sexual education?
Yes. Well, I came here because one of your journalists, Karolina, had broadcast a piece of a documentary that I was in based on my research on Alfred Kinsey. And Kinsey was the foundation of all human sexuality education, and certainly the education that Sasha or Stuhlhofer would bring to this country, to Croatia, since he studied at the Kinsey Institute and felt that this was a very important, right, viable research that he would transmit to all the Croatian children. And that research was fraud, and that research was crime, and that research was based on the sexual torture of hundreds, if not over 2,035, infants and children. Therefore, this would not be accurate, quote, research any more than Mengele, World War II, should be relied on by Croatians to train their children with his ideas either.
Govorite li o tome na takav način i u Sjedinjenim Američkim Državama? Dakle, otvoreno govorite da se ne slažete sa njegovim metodama. I s obzirom na to, imate li kakvih neugodnosti u Sjedinjenim Američkim Državama?
Do you speak openly about his research in the US as well? And if so, have you had any negative feedback as a result of your opinions?
Oh, yes. Yes, I speak openly about it. There's no way to say it's not true. It's right here in Kinsey's first book, Black and White, in his own words. The torture of these infants, a 2-month-old baby, the youngest child, being used in sex experiments. So there's no way to contradict what I'm saying. But there has been negative and positive. We almost had 3 actually congressional investigations of the Kinsey research. But we have huge money behind that, the Rockefeller Foundation, the Ford Foundation, Playboy magazine contributing money to the Kinsey Institute, as well as other funds that came to stop the research, to stop the investigations. So that's where it is now. So yeah, there's been a battle.
Koja ste točno vi istraživanja napravili, koristeći kakve metode i do kakvih ste rezultata došli?
What research have you conducted? Which methods have you used? And what were the results of your investigations?
Well, it's very simple. No, it was on Kinsey. It's not anybody could do it. I mean, you just read it and you look at what he said and you say, well, who would sexually molest a child? 26 orgasms, in 24 hours of a 4-year-old. Who would do that? You don't need a degree. You don't need a PhD. You don't need anything. You just need to be able to read and then to have some moral mind to be able to say, that's insane, that's a crime, you arrest people like that. But yes, so I had to go and do proper studies, look at all the original papers, do interviews with people, that sort of thing on the Kinsey part. On the Department of Justice research, that was another thing we looked. I had a whole research team at the university, American University, that I worked with and so on. So there's different parts of the same problem.
Bili ste savjetnica pri američkoj vladi, nekad, više to niste. Zašto ste onda bili, sad više niste?
You used to be a consultant for the US government.
Yes.
Before, under the Reagan. And now you're not. Why were you before and why aren't you now?
Well, the Reagan administration was reasonably conservative. Ronald Reagan announced he did not believe in abortion. That was, as you know, very forceful. Ronald Reagan was a Republican. Not that that's the critical thing. And the people he brought to the administration reflected his beliefs. So when they heard about what I had uncovered with both Playboy, for child pornography in Playboy, and when they heard about the Kinsey research, the child sex abuse research that he had conducted, they asked me to do a major research to find out what was in Playboy and to find out about Kinsey and all this. So the other administrations have not wanted that information.
Kakva se trenutačno seksualna edukacija provodi u američkim školama u SAD-u i koje su posljedice te edukacije? Postoje li neka istraživanja, konkretni rezultati?
What kind of program for sexual education is being conducted in the US at the moment, and what have been the outcomes of that type of approach? Have there been any research studies into the results?
Oh, absolutely, of course. It's disastrous. It's absolutely disastrous. The sex education came through the Kinsey research. Came down, I have a chart and graphs and all this on my website. Came through the Kinsey research, claiming children are sexual from birth. Children are sexual from birth. Therefore, if children are sexual from birth, which was a lie based on torturing little babies, yeah, if children are sexual from birth, then they said, we, Planned Parenthood organizations, there were organizations, they then said, well, okay, then we have to teach children about sex, how to do it, so that they can enjoy. This started back in the late 60s, early 70s.
The sexual revolution, I suppose.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Kinsey was the father of the sexual revolution. It's called the father of the sexual revolution. So yes, post the sexual revolution, they start coming into the schools. Our pregnancy rates, our venereal disease rates, everything was at the bottom statistically. Our marriage was still okay. Our divorce rates were still okay. Our abortion, we didn't have abortion. It was not legal and so forth. So it was all down here. And then the sex educators came into the classrooms and they're telling children how to have sex, why it's good for you, go enjoy. And it wasn't even condoms then. And so everything starts to go like this. All our rates of sexual trauma are just like that. And it's continued like that over these years. Venereal disease from syphilis and gonorrhea at that time, we're now at 25, 30 venereal diseases, new ones all the time. And certainly AIDS, all that. So like this, sex crime like this, abortion like this, every measure, every clinical measure of sexual crime disorder, off the charts.
Kako je moguće da američka vlada ništa ne poduzima, da ignorira tu činjenicu da je sve u porastu i da ne mijenja uopće seksualnu edukaciju u SAD-u?
How come the US government hasn't reacted to this rise in crime rates and changed the sexual education program?
Yes. There's a huge amount of money involved in keeping this going. the big pharmaceutical companies, major lobby, biggest lobby we have, is behind all of this now. We're inoculating children for hepatitis B, which was a venereal disease, you know, and people didn't know it. So their babies, newborn babies, just little babies, were being inoculated, were vaccinated with all kinds of child, you know, disease prevention, and also with hepatitis B. Now it's HPV, human papilloma virus. They're vaccinating little children. Why? What, are the children looking to have sex? No, the adults were looking to have sex with them. And now, just the British, who have been following our system, announced that, excuse me, this is it's where we are, you know, what can I say? Announced that they are now going to vaccinate boys under 12 for human papilloma virus. Because, why? Because boys under 12 are having oral, you know, disease there, because of the things they're doing, obviously, with older men. So they're getting in the throat. So this is insane. This is absolutely insane. It's unconscionable, and the money behind it, and the people's reputations as well, who have pushed it, like Sasha Stuhlhofer, who is pushing this in Croatia. All that depends on the truth of what they say, and these are lies.
Postoji promocija kontraceptivnih sredstava, to razumijem, to je interes farmaceutskih tvrtki. Međutim, dobivaju li djeca u SAD-u i mladi informacije o tome da oni nisu 100% učinkoviti?
Contraceptive devices are promoted, and of course that's pushed by the pharmaceutical companies, but are children informed of the fact that they're not 100% effective?
They're not really. It'll be in a little line, you know, line here, and here they talk about, well, it's not 100% effective, but, and what does a child understand? First of all, no child is ever going to get sick. You know, they say to themselves, you know, children, right? And teenagers the same. So they ignore all of the research, all of our knowledge about human brain, about the development of the human brain, about the fact that the child is not critically thinking, making appropriate judgments until they reach what? The argument 21, 25, but certainly not youth, not kids. So they ignore that. And even your program, your sex education program that Stuhlhofer would bring to you, to the little kiddies, yeah, even that, he talks about helping children to make critical thinking decisions. What critical thinking decisions? That brain is not organized to do that. That brain is organized to learn about mathematics, geography, history, all these things. Let's learn that. And they give them this sex, and then they expect they don't practice? Oh, they know better.
Je li u SAD-u porasla uporaba kontracepcijskih sredstava kod mladih, jer je to bio interes valjda te edukacijske metode, i kako onda rastumačiti činjenicu, vjerojatno time što nije 100% sigurna takva metoda, zbog čega raste i kriminalitet i stopa abortusa i spolno prenosivih bolesti? Dakle, je li porasla stopa upotrebe?
Yes, so has the rate of usage of contraceptive devices increased? And if so, then how do they explain the increasing rate of sexually transmitted diseases and unwanted pregnancies?
Exactly. Yeah, the British Mail just reported that Great Britain has is second in the highest transmitted diseases of the children and abortions of children by children, yeah? And the reporter said, I don't understand it. We've been teaching sex education for 20 years, 2 decades or more, and we are like this. And Poland is here at the bottom. They don't have these diseases like we do and all these dysfunctions. Poland and Greece. Why are Poland and Greece here when they don't have sex education? And we're here when we do for all these years. So when you don't want to believe something, you're not going to believe it, yeah?
Yes, understand. Što je s pornografijom? Naime, sporno je u tom modelu spolnog odgoja i to što se spominju i pornografski sadržaj kao edukativni materijali. Vi ste radili istraživanje i o pornografiji, kakve ste rezultate dobili?
What about pornography? In the program there is mention of usage of pornographic material. You've done research in this field. What is your opinion of the effects this could have?
Well, the effects are clear. I mean, statistically, our children are sexually assaulting little children. You know, our children are assaulting children. And when they see pornography, just like the children are told to practice mathematics, to practice, read, you know, go home. Well, they practice. Of course they practice. And anyone who doesn't know that should certainly not be teaching. And so, yes, pornography and they're recommending pornography really in their program. You know, read their actual language, and it's inexcusable. And they use research, not only from Kinsey, which was torture and crime and violations of children, yeah, but they use research that they say is critical science research where children are being shown pornographic pictures. And you know, the woman is touching the little boy's parts and da-da-da, and then they're coming up with, who does that? Who does that? Well, pedophiles do that, don't they? And anyone, that's another thing I have to tell you. Our sex abuse of children in our schools, in school, by teachers, off the chart. Much more than anything that has been accused of to priests. Absolutely. The research is clear on that. Carol Shakeshaft did the research for the Department of Education. So we have women teachers abusing children sexually now. I have photographs of them. We have lists of them. And men, of course, teachers sexually abusing children. So sex is not something that belongs in the schools. Who does it? Why are they doing it? They say they do it for the children. The data prove they do not do it for the children. They're doing it for other reasons.
Moguće da u pozadini svega žele da se stvore pojedinci koji će koristiti pornografiju u životu. Koliko je pornografija opasna i za odrasle?
Maybe the whole aim of the game is to create individuals who will be users of pornography one day. How dangerous is this, and what do you think the effect is in adults later on?
Well, everybody watching this television program knows. Everybody knows. You either yourselves have suffered from the breakdown of the family, where the husband, or even now we've got female addicts. We have female pornography addicts. So either there's the breakdown of the family, the husband locks himself in a room, we have the wife come, or there's incest, absolutely, where you have pornography in the household. You have the boys or the girls try this on the other ones. The girls now are sending pictures of themselves, you know, on those little phones, right? And naked pictures of themselves. We are so confusing our children. We are so breaking their hearts. We are so destroying their sense of self, their modesty, their safety. It's outrageous. And in a way, I would say it's almost worse than what the political crazy people did here. You know, the political dominance. Yeah, this is a sexual violation of all of our children. How can we allow that?
Možemo li smatrati pornografsku industriju kao izravan napad na obitelj, kao temeljnu odrednicu društva?
Can we assume that the pornographic industry is a direct assault on the family unit as the basic building block of society? Oh,
very much so. The only thing that has protected children has been the church, yeah? The family, yeah, from violent abuse. Certainly not the schools; they weren't involved in that. It was the church and the family, yeah, which was one and the same. And they make a fortune from these children, who then, we know impotence is rampant now, and the data are very clear, very, very clear that the people who are using pornography, mostly men, boys, that they become impotent. That they're calling it ED, erectile dysfunction. It's impotence, yeah? They can't function. They have to have these stories. They have to have these images. They can't relate to the human person that they're with. And this program, this sex education program, would put them, everybody, right into the hands of the pharmaceutical industry and the pornography industry. Addicts, we know it's addiction, no question about that, over time very quickly, and then it disintegrates from adult women to teenagers to little children. We've got that whole process which is taking place worldwide.
Često čujemo u komentari kako uopće ova tema nije toliko važna, da ima važnijih političkih pitanja poput nezaposlenosti. Koliko je ovo uistinu važno?
Often we hear in the media today that this topic is less important than other more relevant topics such as unemployment rates, etc. How important is this topic really?
Well, if it's your child that's raped, it's pretty important. So yes, it's more important than anything. Nothing that we do, nothing compares to the sexual violation that's taking place with our children. And remember, Playboy magazine lost a lawsuit against me when I said that Playboy in the Netherlands, when I said that Playboy was producing child pornography, pushing incest and child sexual abuse. In the Netherlands, I won that lawsuit. The judge said, absolutely what Reisman has said is completely accurate.
Također u spolnom odgoju, odnosno ovom 4. modelu zdravstvenog odgoja u Hrvatskoj se spominje, često se spominje pojam rodne ideologije, o tome se raspravlja. Možete li našem gledateljstvu objasniti o čemu je riječ? Što je to rodna ideologija?
Gender ideology is often mentioned in the sexual education program that is being put forward.
Right, yes.
Can you explain what gender ideology is and how can that affect us?
It's another form of insanity that would be promoted to the children, telling them we are plastic, and that's Kinsey, by the way. He's the one that laid that out. So you listen to a pedophile, a sexual sadist. He's a psychopath. He and his group were clinically sexual psychopaths. You listen to them, you're going to have a psychopathic society. Yes, they're saying there is no boy, there is no girl. Yes, your body parts tell you you're a boy or a girl. Don't pay attention. You can be a boy today, you can be a girl tomorrow. It's plastic gender. Now, whoever believes that needs to be examined.
Ali to se ne događa.
But that's not being done. They're not being criticized or sent to be examined.
No, look, it used to be that the medical profession, it was the medical profession, the parents in the church that told human beings what was healthy sex. I mean, they said, here, you can't do this part, you can't use your parts that way because you get diseases, because it's not good, blah, blah, blah. So the first thing that the sexology people, which is Kinsey, the first group they tried to take over and retrain was the medical profession. Because those people, those doctors, would tell children and parents, don't do these things. So they took that, they hijacked from the medical profession and said, we sociologists, we anthropologists, we blah, 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 we have a PhD, we'll tell everybody about sex. No. What they've said has caused us a holocaust in its own way of our children. Inexcusable.
Za vas su rekli da ste homofob, oni koji se ne slažu s vama, I antisemit.
You've obviously understood the
yes.
What is your defense?
I don't have a defense. As I said, these are stormtrooper type people. They reflect these call themselves journalists. They're not journalists. Every culture, I mean, the communists had their journalists, okay? It's not news. The fascists had their journalists. It's not news. China, they had their journalists. It's not news. And also their experts, their scientists. So they have their shills, we call them. I don't know what you call it here, but it's like prostitutes, yeah? So that's, you have your academic prostitutes, you have your journalistic prostitutes, yeah? And they say what the ruling class, the money or whoever, want them to say. So, homophobia, okay, the word is ridiculous anyway. What, you fear your own sex? Or you know, I fear my same sex? No, I don't fear my same sex, okay? This is stupid, that's the meaning of it. Homo, same, phobia. So I don't fear my sex, okay. Number one, so finished, okay. Anti-Semitism, shameful, what they said. Makes me a criminal, by the way. In various countries, if I'm called a Holocaust denier, yeah? So, as I've said, my family goes back to 1500. The Gelernter family goes back to 1500. Rabbis, since 1500. Very important people. Gelernter means the learned one. I hope I live up to that. And that goes back to 1500. We should have had thousands of family members, yeah? They're gone. They're annihilated by the Nazis. And some annihilated by the communists, by the way, because I've checked now. So some captured by the communists and killed for whatever reason, and then the Nazis came and killed others. And I'm accused because I have a few people who escaped and were to the United States, where we didn't have communism yet, and we didn't have fascism. I'm accused of being an anti-Semite. So I'd say you have stormtroopers accusing me of anti-Semitism. So yes, they're also anti-Semites. That's what they are. Okay? If that's what they call me.
U jednom sam listu hrvatskom pročitala izvješće o vašoj debati sa profesorom Schulhoferom. On je, kako oni navode, rekao da seksualna edukacija polučuje rezultate jer smanjuje i stopu maloljetničkih trudnoća i spolno prenosivih bolesti, a da psinecijska metoda nema nikakvih rezultata. Prvo, je li on to stvarno rekao, a to da nije istina, to smo već čuli.
Danita, I read in a Croatian newspaper that during your debate with Professor Schulhofer, he mentioned that the abstinence from sex does not produce results, whereas his method, it being recommended for the new program in Croatia, reduces pregnancy, teenage pregnancy rates and sexually transmitted diseases. Now, we've heard from you that that's obviously not the case.
No, it's ridiculous, of course. We had abstinence education pre-sexual revolution, and our rates were here and everything is here, yeah? And he uses the research he wants to use, and the research that he does use is commonly written by people who are in what I always carry, Journal of Pedophilia. These are pedophiles. And they create body of research. He talks here in his book. He writes his book, Sexuality and Gender, with a bona fide, clinically, sexually admitted pedophile. So, you believe anything that pedophiles write and that he writes when he says he didn't even know that his co-author was an admitted pedophile? No, no. There's another agenda, and that agenda is good for the pharmaceutical industry. It's good for domination of Croatia because you don't have thinking children anymore when you teach them these things. They are going to be sexually active. He knows that they will be sexually active. He knows that is going to corrupt them. If he doesn't know that, where does he should go to sleep, you know, and just relax, because he is nobody, nor any of the people he works with. None of them should be teaching children about sex. When parents taught children about sex, when the church taught children about sex, when doctors taught children about sex and said no, niet, nada, no, yeah, they didn't have diseases. They didn't have pregnancies to any extent, yeah. They were healthy and they could grow and they could develop naturally and normally. This is what this program will do. It will destroy their normal, their natural, behavior. He also denies there's anything called a natural sex act. Who who says a thing like that? Yeah, and his research tells Croatian women that pain in their relationships is going to be pleasure. What kind of insanity is this? It's unacceptable.
Što mogu učiniti evo, roditelji koji su ustali, koji se suprotstavljaju takvom odgoju? Naime, ministar u Hrvatskoj jednostavno donio odluku da se takav odgoj provede.
What can parents do who disagree with this sexual education program? Unfortunately, the Minister for Education has decided to introduce this program without consulting parents. What can parents do?
Yes, well, you have communism and fascism in place, you know, with your Minister of Education. He says he knows better. Why does he know better? How, what? On what basis? His own, you know, domination. Oh, you will do this. Yeah, we say so. Yeah. What is that craziness? There's no democracy there. He should stand down. He should resign. The Croatian people should insist that he resign. How dare he and the rest of the people around him think that they can dominate to the Croatian people about the sexual training of their own children. That's outrageous. Even American crazy people don't do that.
Imaju li mogućnost u SAD-u da odaberu roditelji vrstu seksualnog odgoja?
Is there a possibility in the US for parents to actually choose the type of sexual education their children will receive?
Yeah, there's a battle here. For a while, they said no, then they had to say yes, and parents could take the children out. We called that the opt-out provision. So, but these people don't give up. Okay, they don't give up. You either have to remove them, because they come back, and then they have with a new administration, Obama. Okay, we're talking about saying, well, no, you can't take the children. So it's a battle all the time. Same thing in England, in Great Britain. They were forcing, then they stopped forcing because the parents are furious. In the meantime, your children are being harmed. Okay, in the meantime. Other children are getting this. Okay, you take your child out. Fine. Let's just say you can. The little children next to your children are being indoctrinated. Those children will molest other children. You create a culture. Stuhlhofer called it a pedophile culture. Is that what we want? A pedophile culture? No. So there can be for me, there can be no agreement here. None. It belongs back with doctors. It belongs back with parents. It belongs back with the church, and everybody sits down and talks about what's going on and tries to help their children. But it certainly does not belong with sexologists or sociologists or anthropologists or any of those ologists. It belongs where it always was, and it's got to go back there.
Recimo da nekako u suvremenom svijetu se često pozivaju svi na znanost. Koliko se uistinu drži do znanosti, ali one cjelovite prave znanosti i rezultata tih istraživanja? Evo i na ovom području.
Often in society we are called to respect scientific facts. How much real science is there in all of this, and what is the scientific basis?
Okay, real science. First of all, the science reflects the scientist. What the person doing the research comes up with. If they are immoral people, they'll lie and they'll give you false science. That's what Kinsey did, yeah? Second of all, science in the area of sex has proven to be not science, okay? It is false. It is fraud. You cannot give over your responsibility as a mother, as a father, as a grandparent, as a church person. You cannot allow somebody who says, I am a scientist, to take that from you. You know what is best for your children. You know what is right. The scientist, quote unquote, has proven that they are not what they say. They will sexualize your children. They will say that they're sexual from birth. I have the documents that prove that. No, it's not belonging in the schools with the so-called teachers. It belongs only with the parents, only with them, and the church and the medical profession. That's all.
Hrvatska je mlada država, mi se još učimo i demokraciji i kulturi dijaloga. Kako biste procijenili, evo, i stupanj demokracije i kulture dijaloga u hrvatskom društvu, onako kako ste vi doživjeli?
Croatia is a young democracy and we're still learning how to communicate and just how to practice democracy. What has been your experience of the culture of communication in Croatia so far?
Yes. Well, your journalists work for the bad guys, yeah? Not all the journalists, Karolina.
But most.
Yes. Karolina is disciplined, is removed from her pictures of Croatia because, why? Because she would broadcast information about Kinsey coming out of Great Britain. That's where that was done. Because she would do that, she's censored? Censored? Okay. That means that the same communist, fascists, whatever, who were running things before us, still running things. They're still in charge. So, those people are responsible for talking to for the speech that the Croatian people receive. So that's got to stop. There's no democracy. No, when all communication is controlled by those people, absolutely not. Karolina needs to have her position back. Absolutely. She should be right back doing programs, complete programs for the Croatian people because she was telling the truth. Whoever fired her needs to be fired. Whoever accused her or anybody else, your Minister of Education, whatever, they need to be removed. That is a real democracy. That is when the people rule. A democracy means the people rule, not some special isolated, arrogant little group, clique.
Gostovali ste na nekoliko hrvatskih fakulteta. Gdje vam je bilo najugodnije iskustvo, gdje je najmanje ugodno?
You've been a guest speaker at a number of different institutions in Croatia and university faculties.
Yes.
Where have you had the most pleasant experience and the least pleasant experience?
Well, your medical school received me. It was wonderful. And they were very, very concerned because they didn't know all this about Kinsey. That had been shut out of their knowledge base. They had the book, but nobody really thought, about that, and so they didn't know. So that was wonderful. Your your dean of political science still has his little star. His little red star, I think. I think he's got it under his suit. Because he's saying, oh, no, we are long from communism. I don't see that. I see, you had these bullies, these arrogant little people, there. I call them the stormtroopers, yeah? And they were horrible. And then we had a press conference, and you had people standing there screaming and yelling. What are they afraid of? What are they so afraid of? The Croatian people need to ask that. They're afraid of me? They're afraid of some ideas, some information? Who are they protecting? What are they protecting? They're not protecting the people that they scream and yell at me and call me names that I will not repeat on Croatian television. So, there's something going on. When you have an effort to establish a real democracy, you always have people working behind to destroy that effort. And that's what's going on right here.
Često se govorilo o tome zašto ste uopće došli u Hrvatsku i tko vas je pozvao?
Why did you come to Croatia and who invited you?
Yes. Well, I came to Croatia because Stefan, yeah? Stefan, yeah?
Stjepan Bartulica.
Thank you very much. Emailed me and told me about what happened to Karolina. And I feel, she was showing my research. So it's my responsibility to defend her and to defend democracy in Croatia. So I came. Here I am.
Jeste li optimistični kako predviđate budući razvoj ove priče oko seksualnog odgoja u hrvatskim školama?
Are you an optimist? That is, what is your impression? How will things evolve in view of the current situation in Croatia?
Well, there's got to be enormous pressure from the Croatian people. And I've seen such love from the Croatian people. I've spoken now all over and the crowds pour in and they're wonderful and they thank me, it's very nice and so on. In my old age, it's very good. And you're a small country. So being such a small country and struggling for democracy, yes, I think that those people can be organized into a proper political power, yeah? And the church must assert its authority. In my view, the church must assert its authority, help the people to understand what is being done to them. And then yes, the Swiss did a huge documentary on my work. And at the end of this Swiss documentary, it's all on my website, people should go there. At the end of the Swiss documentary, they have the Swiss people marching with big signs, nicht, nein, all this kind of thing, nicht, whatever, however that works. And mothers and fathers and parents, grandparents marching to protest. So that's the meaning of democracy. And in this small country, you could, I think, you could be the motivation for other countries that see what you do. You've come out of communism, stay out of communism. This is another form of communism, in my view, this quote, miseducation. So you could set, I think, a standard for all these other countries that have fallen into this controlled, this sexology control. I'm very enthusiastic about what could happen in Croatia and the beautiful Croatian people that I have met.
Spomenuli ste katoličku crkvu u Hrvatskoj da mora zadržati autoritet, da ne bi možda netko krivo zaključio. Vi niste katolkinja, ako sam dobro informiran.
You mentioned the Catholic Church, that it should assert itself.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, you're not Catholic.
No. I'm Jewish. Yes, I'm Jewish, and I'm going to sue your nasty people who have accused me of such a horrible belief system or whatever. I will be suing them and enjoy it.
Da, kod vas je razvijena demokracija, vidim.
Yes, obviously democracy is well developed in the US.
Oh yes. Lawsuits are definitely well developed in the United States.
Gospođo Reisman, thank you. Mrs. Reisman, thank you for this conversation.
I thank you. It's been a wonderful opportunity, and I thank the Croatian people. And let me really thank you so much. Wherever I go, people hug me, they give me, whoever they are, wherever I've been, they have thanked me, and so they know the truth. And the strength has to come from you, the Croatian people, and I pray that you will have that strength and move forward and save your nation and save your children.
Evo, očekujemo vas na ljetovanju u Hrvatskoj.
We expect you over the summer on a holiday.
Oh, yeah.
Još jednom hvala vam lijepa, hvala vama Irena što ste bili ovdje s nama, što ste nam prevodili ovaj razgovor. Eto, hvala i vama poštovani gledatelji na pozornosti. Gledali ste još jednu emisiju Vidljivi tragovi, ostanite uz nas uz našu redovitu rubriku Vrata vjere. Doviđenja za 7 dana.